Yeah.
And yours on my FluoS.
Okay, sweet.
I'll show you again how to save it.
Stop it. So you can, okay. All right, great. All right, Corey, I'm going to talk in general, like there's a lot of people here because it's just because a lot of people can't make it live. So we have been asked to look at going black jackets. And I'm going to talk as if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of people who don't know what I'm talking about, including you probably, when it comes to like the depth of this. So black jacket means that during the month that you go for promotion, you need 400 people total to put orders in. Okay, so everybody has to, all 400 of those people have to do a $250 retail order. 65 of those 400 have to be my personal recruits. Okay, that's just how it works. It's 400 total. 65 of the 400 have to be personal recruits. Just to kind of give you, I'm going to talk real numbers with you guys just so you know where our team is at in general on a monthly basis. On a monthly basis, our active numbers, so that's not necessarily people putting orders in every single month, but people that keep active on a normal business are doing that 250 every 3 months or so, or a cumulative of 250 of the 3 months. On a normal month, like last month, we ended at 51 was my personals and 490 was the downline. Okay. So that's why Sonia's talking to me, because every month for the last 4 to 6 months, that's where our numbers have landed. Our numbers have landed in the low 50s for my personals and in the mid to upper 400s for my downline. So what that means basically is that the people are there. You just have to sync them. Okay. I am thankful to you all guys that I actually have the bodies in personals. So I think I have close to 80 personals right now, which is awesome. But I'm only landing in the 50 or so active. So that means that more of my personals need to, put orders in the month that usually do. So here's my, I'm going to start with my fears. Okay. I have no doubt that we can hit these numbers. Okay. I'm 100% positive that we can do it if everyone rallies together and actually does it, because the people are already doing it. It's a matter of them all doing it during the same month. What I'm afraid of is the maintenance, and that's my own fear, and that's my own issue, because the downline maintenance is pretty much always going to be there. I'm very blessed. I have a very strong linear line below me and strong width. You guys have for all leaders who are growing your teams, and it's awesome. I'm nervous about my personals, and I'm going to be real honest about that. When you grow your business with Morex, you're going to see there's two sides to this. There's that downline, and then there's the personals. The personals are the hardest to kind of keep those numbers, because 65 is a lot of people. It's a lot of people to make sure. And so I've been running on this buffer, this 40-person buffer for a long time, where I have people every 6 months putting orders in instead of every 3. And so I basically have to just get my ass in gear and either really start to increase my team building, or really ignite the people who aren't putting orders in to get them to put orders in every 3 months. So when it comes down to us doing it, I have no doubt that we can do it. It's the maintenance that kind of scares me in the long run. I've never not gotten paid at my level. So it's something that's super fearful for me. And that's when I say I'm scared. That's where I get scared, is because I don't live in the world of oh, well, I'll just go a few months not getting paid at level. It's just never happened to me. So I told this to Sonia. I told her my fears of doing this and long-term, being able to make sure I keep my title and stuff. And she basically told me that I need to lay my fear down and not run my business on fear. And so I was I don't really like that. I mean, I do. It's exactly what I would tell you guys, right? Right. Mm-hmm. But to be told it myself is a little bit okay. To be told it, to be told myself that it's a little bit nerve-wracking, because it's big maintenance. 65 people is a lot to keep going at all times. So that's where we're at. And I want to talk through, I took some notes because I was just thinking through some stuff. So I'm being forced to look at this in a good way. So just like I would challenge you guys, I'm being challenged. And so that's just kind of where I'm at right now. And I have to remember that as I'm leading, I still need to be led, and I still need to be like brought to this place where I'm consistently in this point of challenge. Kind of like what I posted the other day, when your dreams don't scare you, like you should reassess them. And I feel like for the last probably 4 to 6 months, it's been pretty comfortable for me. Not in a bad way. And I needed that because I've had a lot of like personal family crap that's like gone down. And I feel like God's really blessed me and given me like a lot of like a easy season in my business where I haven't had to really worry about like numbers coming in. It just always happens. Right. So I think it's a good place, but also in that I've been feeling a little bit complacent. Like, okay, like where's my challenge? And like, am I doing the right thing? And when you get complacent, you get nervous, and then you get like, then you compare yourself to others, and then you get like thinking that you're not doing the right thing. So like all these things kind of happen when you're not challenging yourself to move yourself forward and to always be kind of pushed into that next thing in whatever area of life you're at. It's really easy for me, guys. It's super easy for me to like stay like this because that's where I'm comfortable. But I know that's not where I belong, right? Because if I'm not pushing myself, then I'm not pushing you guys. And then you guys can't necessarily always grow in the way that you need to grow if I'm not pushing myself and challenging myself. Okay, so all that to say, here we are, and I'm being challenged. So why do we want to do this? Okay, because that's my next question. Okay, great. So here numbers present themselves. Well, why do we want to push ourselves to the next level? What's the point right now? Because there can be a lot of sense in waiting and being smarter and being more comfortable. So why push? Okay, so the first thing why I think that we should push is because we'd be the first. And there's something to that. Being the first, we've always been the first, guys. Not that it really matters, but there is a sense of like kind of excitement to be the team that's kind of getting to the first level in a certain state. So we were the first red jacket, we were the first VP, and I would still like to keep that trajectory to be the first black jacket. Mm-hmm. And so the first out of all of in Nebraska, we were the first team to hit all of those levels. So it's exciting to be that, and that it's something to rally behind, and it's also like a level of prestige. You know that we as this team we've been working really hard. We've been doing our jobs. We've been on this like upward cycle, and we're still going. About 3 months ago, Twanette, our regional sales manager. Do you know who Twanette is, Corey? She's like our corporate Norwex person. She's like our person who like reports to Norwex, but also is like in the field for us. So her name is Twanette, and she's super nice. And she called me about 3 months ago and said to me, "Brooke, you should go for black jacket." And I said, "No, thank you." And at that time, I think it was June or July, my mom was real sick, and I didn't know what was going to happen with her. And be careful, he'll French kiss you, just so you know. So she said to me, you know, and something that she said to me that really stuck out, and I want you guys to hear this because this isn't me, this is you guys. She said to me that there's not many leaders in Norwex who are leading teams who are consistently on the upswing. Like there's a lot of leaders who do this, and some leaders lose their title, and some leaders get really close to losing their title. She said our team has been consistently on an upward cycle where we have strength in the first line and strength in the down line too. And not many people have that. And so I felt really good about that because it's not really, I'm not doing that. It's you guys who are doing that. It's you guys who are growing your teams and feel the desire to grow within Norwex. And we should be proud of that because it's not a lot of leaders in Norwex don't have strong teams that keep going on a consistent upward cycle of towards growth. Okay. We are a team that's doing that. So I knew that we were eventually on the path to be heading there. And I knew it was either going to be before the end of this year or at least before National Conference of next year that we were going to end in this spot of being black jacket. So I've had 2 people high up in the company contact me on separate occasions to come on in, to come and and look at this. Okay, first time I said, hell no. Second time, Sonia, and I feel like really like, Sonia just asked me to do anything, and I said, okay, Sonia, I'll look at it. So I'm being forced to, hi, hon. Hi, there's wine and stuff. I'm kind of going to grab something. Okay. So that's the first thing is the prestige and the fact that someone's even just asking me to look at, and that's why I'm going to look at black. Audrey loves dogs, so yeah. I think that also that we're being asked to do this after just 3.5 years is a pretty big deal. It's probably only about a little over 3 years since we've got the first team member other than me. I think that Audrey was the first one who spoke to me. Katie was the actual first recruit, so she was in June. So it's not that much further behind that we're 3 years into the very first team member that we're looking at this. So it's kind of a big deal, and so it's important for us to take these things seriously if the numbers are actually presenting themselves. So, and I think also it's important for us to be challenged. We're a strong team, and I think it's really easy. It's really important for us to keep challenging ourselves. It's if we don't challenge ourselves, we are going to go from growth to like sustaining. And in this business, if you aren't consistently growing and have more of an upswing than a flat, then it's easy to go down, because in this business, people are coming on, people are going off constantly. You're going to bring people on your team and they're going to be like, hey, I'm so excited. And then a month later, they're going to be like, no, like it. And then they're going to like never do anything ever again. And then you're going to have the steady people who are always going to be putting orders in and always going to be growing and always wanting to do this. And then you're going to have the people who are going to be taking off. So like, we have to always be thinking about like staying ahead of that curve, So if we're not growing and we're just maintaining, that's when we can start to backpedal, and we don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah, he'll get there. You're the worst. I do love you though. So that's kind of like why the reasons I think that it's important for us to consider it. That being said, okay, the numbers are presenting themselves. It comes down to my personals, which is my own problem. It's not your guys' problem. It's my own problem. But also, I can't do this without you. Like I can't. It can't happen. Okay, Luann just pushing me out. Yeah, Rocky, honey, I know you're the worst. So I can't do without you. So the reason I asked each of you specifically to be here, you included, Corey, and the people who are not live right now, who are gonna watch later, is because each of you are either a leader, have a desire to be a leader, or have a desire to grow to the next level. And all of your numbers count towards this huge number of 400 people, which is ridiculous. So it is important that when we look at this, we look and see what we can do to get to the next step. So if you are close to the first level of leadership or the second level of leadership, or if you are a sales leader or an executive sales leader, it's important that you're looking at this and just to ask yourself, not just me what you can do for Brooke, but like yourself, can I move to the next level during the month of December, or can I re-promote myself, basically? Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Like every single person's got to put an order in order for this to work, like almost every single person.
So that you're looking at December. I was thinking you're looking at November.
December. Yeah, December.
Oh, December.
Yeah, December. Yeah, we're looking at December. And the couple reasons why we're choosing December and not November. First of all, November's already a week gone, pretty much. So, and if we're going to do this and we decide as a team collectively that we're going to do it in December and not March, because that's the other option, is to go in March. If we're going to do December, I need to get my ass in here and start to do some stuff. A couple things that I would do, like if we decide that we're going to do this, like this week, I need to make a postcard and I'd order catalogs for you guys. If you want catalogs to give to your team members, I would buy those, and then you would just distribute things like that. And if you want to make sure that people have catalogs in hand, making those 165 packages to make sure that people have those, so to do quick orders for our people who are like just part-time buyers. It's going to be a little tricky though, because we don't know if this December is going to hold those crazy spending gets like we had last December. Do you guys remember those last
I
December?
totally remember.
Okay, so here's why we're choosing December is because we get historically we get 40% off. Okay, I have to say historically because I can't necessarily know what's going to happen. We get 40% off. For some reason, people come out of the woodwork and people are just putting in orders that you would never even speak to normally, and they're putting in orders left and right because that 40% off. So a normal 165 order is going to be 158 or whatever plus tax and shipping, which people freak the F out over that extra $6 or $7. Also, they did those spending gets last year that was 75, 100, and 150, and people were putting in crazy. Like we were doing the 325 packages instead of the 250 packages, and people were like going nuts over them because you were getting like 100 or it was so much product for a ridiculous amount of money. So, so there's a lot of people that went VP and blackjack at last December, and so Sonia was like challenging me, like, don't disqualify December, because oftentimes, like in my mind, I think I stopped partying on December 12th. Like I'm done. Like I'm done. Like. And so basically if we push for December, like we're pushing until December 15th, and then it's like black days until like December 27th. And then it's madness from December 27th to the 31st. So we have to be prepared for that. Like if that's something that we really want to do, like understanding mentally that there's going to be this dark week of like nothing happening from December, 17th to December 26th or whatever. But also knowing, honey, don't jump on the man. She doesn't want to jump. Knowing that like these spending gets help huge. They help huge. Tony Sterner, who's a VP in Planet Green Team, basically said like the spending gets made a huge difference in whether or not she was going to promote last year. So, so kind of piggybacking on what Norwalk's already doing, I'm wondering if whatever this crazy announcement they're going to make is going to have something to do with that. I'm not 100% sure, but if it does, then
when is an announcement?
I don't know, but our newsletter was supposed to come out today, and they haven't gone out yet. And they said that they would tell us before, like the jackets, before the newsletter goes out. So once they know, I'll tell you guys.
You think it's going to be something for December?
I hope so. That they would give us like a heads up or something with this month. I'm not 100% sure. So, so December, because of those things, and also they have the reactivate for free usually in December. So if you have dormant team members, then they can reactivate for free, and then usually they put in that 250 order. And they have it's like a sequence of really good things. Like if they reactivate for free, they can do a 250 order and have those awesome spending gets, and then like usually get something free, like a shopping spree or something on top of that. So there's a lot of like things that naturally lead up to December already being something. So we can say also like, okay, if we all say collectively like, okay, we're not ready to push. Everyone's not ready to push for the next level. So okay, that's great. But we can also just kind of like secretly push and see what happens in December. And if we get close, then, like put like the freaking crazy socks on and just go for like at the last 15 days, which is what Linda did last year when she went for VP. Like her numbers all of a sudden she was only 20 away, and so then she just like put it crazy and just worked her ass off to get those last 20 people in the last, 10 days. So, so there's that. December usually is a lot. And so there is also like, there could be like kit incentives, I'm going to put together like a turkey trot flyer this week where we can do turkey trots over the holiday week. So if we do that, gathering those orders and not submitting them until the 1st or 2nd of December. So if you have turkey trot is a really great way for people who are to just gather orders with friends and family. Like it can be customers, so you can put in your own party, or also team members where they're just taking the catalog. And I am happy to buy catalogs for your team. If people want catalogs to do that, just let me know, and I can put in a massive order this week for catalogs, and I can distribute them to you guys to give to your people if they want to do a turkey trot. And then, so gathering those Black Friday, we can gather those sales and do a Black Friday sale, and then put those orders in December 2nd too. So there's lots of ways for us to be gathering orders the second half of this month and submitting them in the month of December without feeling like we're stretching our people. Does that make sense? Where they're like having to do this during the holidays. It doesn't have to feel like that. I also posted that mega party thing. If we want to do that, like a mega party being, there's people who said they were interested, so I'm going to be looking for a space to be able to and I would do the big party, provide prizes, and basically it would be like a table and the consultant at every single table. So every consultant brings 3 to 5 people, and that is their party. Does that make sense? And like this, they collect those orders and then submit it under their own consultant ID for that month. And I would probably look to do it the last week in November, so we can also submit those orders in December. So things like that. There's lots of ways it's kind of leading up to that, and which is
I'm just
crazy.
laughing because you're probably not sleeping a whole lot.
I don't sleep. Usually during promotion months, like when Sonia like said to me, like Jonathan knows, like I was like, oh God, I'm gonna vomit, and he's like, just calm down. I'm like, don't have me to calm down. I'm like, it's not. My mind is on overdrive. During VP, I would stay up late a lot, and I still got sleep, but it's just like you're constantly counting, blah, 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 you know, and it is that way again. So I'm always just thinking, because remember, this isn't just about me. Like, yes, technically I'm the one that gets to put the jacket on, but like my heart is in all of this. And all along, I need you to know that this is not comfortable for me. Okay. Like, this is not my natural tendency isn't to like go for these crazy things and march across stage and get all this recognition. It makes me want to vomit. I don't love it. I prefer small groups and intimately connecting with people. I don't love the accolades. It makes me nervous. I'm going to be 100% honest. There are other people. I mean, we all love recognition, don't we? Like to get like pats on the backs. Of course it feels so good. But I don't do this to like cart across the stage, okay? And to like get, like the reason I do this is because I need you to know, and I can cry, I need you to know that it's possible. Like I don't do this like normally. And I need you to understand that like, that in order for you, like you can do these things and you can want them and you can desire them and you can make shit tons of money, guys, so much money, and money that could change your life, and also just a job that can change other people's lives. And I don't do this because it's comfortable for me. I do it because if I can do it, then you can do it. Like seriously, like if I can do this, then anybody can do it, because there's nothing overtly special about what I do. I just happen to be the first one to do it. Like the first one to kind of just grab it, and was dumb enough to be like, okay, let's do it. Like, like what? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, but then I understood that I had a lot to lose like, as I kept going. So, like, I just need you to understand that there is something that's beyond a title. Like, it's because I feel so strongly that like, if I can lead this path for you guys, you can know that for yourself, it's a real, actual possibility for you to achieve as well. So all that to say, do we do it? That's the next question. Do we do it? And I need you guys to think about it, because like I said before, you can't do it alone. Like,
what do you see each of us doing? Like,
yeah.
guide us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, and before you go into that, this is sort of related. When you said like every person has to make an order.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like everybody under us, like your personals, like how many how many are there? And how many? Like,
okay. Great question. There's about 700 in my, there's about 800 or 900 in my commissionable downline. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when I say everybody, I mean half. Like half of everybody needs to put orders in.
Like
on
who, like,
yes. So on a regular, last month, I'll give you exact numbers. Last month, we had about 260 engaged. Okay. That's not bad. That's actually really good. That was a good month. This month it'll be even more probably, because this month is a naturally high engagement month. The most that we've ever had was the month that Ashley and Kristen went for VP, and we were actually at 370. I could have pushed for Black Jacket that month, but I didn't, because we were short like 30 something, and 20 of those were my personals, and I did not feel comfortable doing it at that time.
How many personals do you need?
I have a close to 80, so I need 65. Mm-hmm. I need 65 putting orders in. So it's a hefty percentage of them. Like but it makes sense. Like when I went for VP, I had about 65 and I needed 45. So percentage wise, it's exactly where I was before. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So when we went for VP, like I think I had about 30 something actives all the time, and then 180 or 190 downline actives all the time. So that shows you kind of how we've grown in the last year and a half, which is pretty significant, So in the world of like, if you're looking at percentages and like where we are, it's pretty much similar to where we were before. So the way it works with Norwex, like you need engaged numbers to promote, but then you need to have those active numbers to maintain, right? So I I've always been like the push and then grow into it kind of person. Like that's just kind of how like the numbers before I went for Red Jacket were like obnoxious. If you would have looked at my numbers, you'd have been like, you shouldn't have done that. Like it was not normal, but other people were telling me, you need to go, you need to push, your numbers are presenting themselves. And I was like, you're insane. No, they're not, because I need 25 and 75. And I had like 17 and 30. Like it didn't make sense to me. Like, but I did, and it worked, So like, it's basically like you push your team, and then you grow into it. Okay. That's just kind of how it is. If you're approaching it, and you're getting close, which we are, baby, honey, no. And then you achieve it, and then you work your ass off afterwards, and you make sure that you are like maintaining those numbers on the flip side, right? So is what I'm asking of you guys. You're ready for ESL. I know that you don't think you are, but you're going to be there. So I would ask different things from each of you, which I would have those personal conversations with you guys to see what you're ready for. You're like, so if you specifically, I know that you would be ready to push for ESL by December. I know that you would be. I know that you don't think that you are, but I know that you would be, because your numbers are presented. It's the same thing that Sonia's asking me that I would ask of you. And so I would look at these things and see what we're ready for. If you are not ready to push the next level, I'm not going to ask anything of you that is out of your reach. Does that make sense? I'm not going to ask you to do things that you're not ready for, that you're not comfortable for. But I would ask, wherever your team is at, that you would either re-promote yourself or engage as many as you can, or get as many engaged in putting orders in as you can. So like for you, you've been holding sales leader for a really long time. So we would look at your team and your active numbers and say, is your team ready to go to ESL? If not, no big deal. Then we would at least get at least 10 engaged on your team. Does that make sense? We want to either re-promote your team to sales leader, or get at least 10 plus on that team, because your team is bigger than 10. So it kind of just depends on each person. I would sit down with each of you individually and look at those things to see what we're ready for, to see what we can really achieve. And then I would do the math and do the numbers and see where we're actually at. I can look at, and then I can look at Ashley's team and say, okay, this is what her team normally puts in towards my numbers. Does that work with everyone else's? And can we get to 400? Does that make sense? So, and then I'm just responsible for my own personals to see if they can get there. So this week would include, me contacting my whole personal downline to see if they're like going to put orders in, and then talking to you guys to see if you think that you're ready. Here's the deal. It's not the end of the world if we're not, okay? If we're not ready to push in December, we'll do it in March. And then we've had this conversation now, and we were like, okay, here's what we're ready for. When March comes around, we're going to be super on top of it, and we're going to be super ready to go, because we're prepared and we're ready to move to that next level. I am not tied to a specific month. The reason I'm looking at this is because Sonia is asking me to. I had already settled in my heart last week, actually, that we were going to wait, because this has been kind of a shit show the last 6 months of my life. And I was okay with like just kind of putting everything on hold for the larger team push, working with you guys individually, which is what I've been doing, to see like who is ready and when you're ready to go. And then when we're ready for the big team push, to do that. But I wasn't going to put a Black Jacket promotion in front of you guys, because I don't think that's what's important. I think you guys moving to the next level is what's important to me. And eventually that will lead to a larger team promotion. It's a lot more fun if we can do it together, So what I'm asking of you guys is just to really take a really hard look at your team members and see honestly what you think that your team is ready for, or what you yourself are ready for as a consultant, and what you're ready to move to the next level to. It's so important to me that I challenge you guys, but also put realistic expectations on you all. Okay. Like I never, ever, ever want to push you beyond what you are ready for, or what you think that you're ready, what you think that your team is ready for my own gain. It's just not how I'm built. When we went for VP, like I specifically waited for months before we were ready, because I wanted to wait for specific people to go to that next level. I think I can wait. Like it's not, even though like the recognition is awesome, like I can totally wait, and it's completely fine, because I want to make sure that as a team collectively we're ready to make that total shift. Does that make sense? So why I'm having this conversation, and Corey, you've kind of fit into this too, hun, because you're like a new up and coming. We want to make sure that you start earning commissions as soon as possible off the people below you. So are we ready to make the shift? And I don't expect you guys to answer that question tonight. Okay, I'm going to get that out there. But I want you to start thinking that way, and like thinking that way and getting back to me within the next week. I started that call calendar. Did you guys see that? And so I want you to get on the call calendar with me within the next week or so. And after you look at your numbers, and I'm going to look at them too, to see, and allow me to look at them through the eyes of a leader. Okay, to see like what I think that your team can accomplish in the next 2 months, a month and a half, and whether or not realistically, and allow me to speak to you realistically. Okay, like I'm a visionary with very realistic parameters on that, if that makes sense. Sonia is just a visionary. I love her to death, but she dreams bigger than I've ever met anybody, and it's beautiful. But I have real life attached to my vision. And the reality is, like, I know for each of us, whatever you guys want to achieve, it's like eventually going to happen. Like, right? 100% it's going to happen, but it's a matter of like the stars aligning. And I just want to make sure that it's the right move for us as a whole team. And even though I'm willing to look and assess and like really take a hard look and be challenged, I also want to be real and make sure that you guys are all ready too, because it's not about me. And it's not about me getting the black jacket. It's about our team doing something together and making sure that we're ready together. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Corey, do you have any questions? Because I'm probably talking a lot outside of stuff that you understand.
Oh, I mean, I understand, I think most of it. What you're looking for, my understanding is that the consistency of the 250, not even on a 3 month, but like on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And so basically, yes, because here's the reason why I want you and like those of us who are like not necessarily putting orders in on a regular basis. The importance of doing it monthly is, first, it keeps you active, because if we go a month without putting 250 in, it's really easy to go the next month without doing 250. Does that make sense? Consistency for yourself. So having at least one party on your calendar every single month, or preferably 2, because in case one cancels, it's going to make you money. Like, and that's the first thing. Like, you're going to get actual cash in hand if you do a couple parties a month, but also it keeps you into it. Because if we let 1 or 2 or 3 months go by, it's so easy to just like be like, well, I guess that's done. You know what I mean? And really, it's just us not being active inside of it that lets it be done. So specifically during promotion months, a 250 subtotal A order is like imperative, and it has to go in. It has to go in, everyone. But in general, especially during these couple November and December, these are really, really great months to party, because you can make a lot of money. So yes. So, and that same thing for the girl that you're bringing on. Like, we want to give the impression that we're in Norwex, unless they're doing it just to like not make money. But the more you party, the more you make money. If you strive for those 3 parties per month, you're going to make at least $500 a month in cash, and you're also going to get free product and stuff like that. So kind of hitting for that $1,500. And that's something that I'm going to, in 2018, that's my new stress for everyone, is going to be aiming for that $1,500 every single month. Like, and I'm going to give good prizes for that. So $1,500 a month is kind of where our eyes are on, but at least $250 if you can't do the $1,500. Does that make sense? Just keep, because if you keep your fingers in it, you keep going. That's just how it is. Like you will, because bookings beget bookings. Like if you have parties, you're going to have more parties. That's just how it goes. The cycle goes. And we are a party plan company. So whether it's in-home or Facebook, if you're having parties on a regular basis, you're just going to keep having parties.
Okay.
And specifically for like when you have one person, because like right now, technically your new girl, like she's going to go and do all the stuff, but you're not making any money off of her yet. And like, I feel like that's so sad. Like we want to make money off of the people. So like when you have one or two people, you want to get to 3 as soon as possible so you can get to that TC level and start earning commissions off of your people who are doing out and partying. Because those first TC checks, team coordinator checks, like they seem kind of little, but then they add up and like you actually are starting to make real money. And all of a sudden you got like a check for like $120. Like, hey there, that's really nice. That's an extra $100 that I can use towards whatever, you know? So it's nice to have that, that residual income coming in once you're in that leadership level. So any other questions? I don't know how much longer this is going to go for.
No, I mean, at this point, no. I will get together and talk more. So, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Do you guys have any questions while we're recording? No? Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording now. And then, Corey, expect me to message you.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Thanks, hon.
Corey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.